So, I mean, that was just, that was the finals matchup. It's like you were talking about all these teams. I mean, if you really want to just narrow it down to two teams, and to me, I'll probably say it's most likely, on paper, it looks like it'll be Phoenix and then Boston. Paper.
And that's who I wanted it to be last year. Even with the KD trade.
Yeah.
Especially after the KD trade, because I was curious to see how Jason Tatum and KD would match up. So
I think it'd be interesting.
That would be cool.
I think that what Phoenix did in a short amount of time is like phenomenal. As far as rebuilding a team for what's available for little cap space. You got a lot of quality players on board, and I think a lot of people don't understand that. They think, oh, these guys are just like these guys are hoopers. Yeah. And I think it works because you have Bradley Beal. He's 6'3", 6'4", and he played guard in college, like point guard. So it's like people don't understand that he's a natural guard. He can just score, but he was paired with John Wall. So when you pair him with John Wall, who's a better facilitator, you just don't use that piece of your game. Yeah. Book can facilitate. KD can facilitate to a certain extent.
He can shoot. Yeah. I mean, I'm just interested to see what kind of numbers they all put up. Like, will KD be at like 26, Book be closer to 30, like 29, then like Brad do 20, 21?
I think Bill takes the biggest hit. I think Bill he won't be.
I think he did that on purpose.
I don't think he likes being the number one guy.
No, I just think he want to hoop.
I think that's the main reason for this because I feel like,
especially at this point in his career too, because he's been the guy.
It hasn't amounted to anything.
Right. So at this point in his career, he's like, I can chill now for real.
I mean, he's 30. Like, when you think about it, it's only certain players that have to go out and go above and beyond when you're 30. Yeah. When he got drafted, he did 1 year, one and done. So he's been hooping since he's been 20. And he has 10 years of no success in the postseason. He had nothing to show for it. But I don't even think they won a playoff series. No. So when you look at it, he's been paired with Russ. He's been paired with John Wall. Injuries and all that have derailed all of his career. I just want to do the one thing that I've came to the league to do.
Win.
That's hoop and win. And the thing is, a lot of people worry about, who's the leader you love. You gave up Chris Paul. Book has always been the leader. You look at the energy, like, bro, it doesn't matter. KD was here in the playoffs. This man still averaged 30. Right. And KD is probably, I would say, the best scorer in NBA history.
To be honest with you, I don't even know how Denver won this series. I was like, man, the Suns are going to win in like 5 or 6.
Oh, man, it's easy to see why Denver won. It's mainly when you have the team structured a certain way. When Chris Paul went down, that was the deciding factor for those 2 games. Yeah. Chris Paul went down around, I can't remember if it was like game 2 or game 3 or whatever. But that's it. Yeah. You're missing the flow.
That was a key piece, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, Book can facilitate, but it's like, I got my matchup is free lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, this, let me score. You know what I'm saying? And then you ask in campaign to do what he's not naturally doing. He's not a natural facilitator. He's an energy guy coming off the bench. I think he had like one game where he was like elite, and then after that he was just back to being mid. Yeah, I mean, like the last game, he was the only one that showed up. Yeah. In game 6, he scored 30. Right. But I mean,
I was like, dang,
he was cooking. But that's his natural role is to be a scorer. He's used to coming off the bench and giving you that energy. And you need guys like that, but they got rid of him. But this pretty much because they're undersized. So and it's like you can look at the way the team is structured and built. They built the team for size. Right. So it was an issue with Chris Paul being too small and older. He couldn't. And he get hurt doing dumb stuff. Like, he'd go for a steal and just 3 fingers.
Just doing too much.
It's not doing too much. It's his play style. That's what he's always done.
Aggressive.
Yeah, but I mean, he's small. He's 6 foot, 6'1". Yeah. So it's like, when you playing like that, you have to be a pest. It's very Patrick Beverly-esque, but his body's deteriorating. Right. He's vegan now. No, I'm just playing. I was just playing.
Nothing wrong with being vegan, guys. We love you all too. Eat a piece of grass for us.
That's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be vegan.
But I like the Suns and Boston matchup. I would watch that. I think it's got a lot of potential to be one of the best finals in a while. However, I don't believe the Suns can go all the way. At least not this year. With this being the first year of all three of them being together, and then really Book and KD only having a few games there at the end together to really kind of mesh. So I don't think that they go all the way. I think they're a Western Conference Finals team. I think LeBron goes back to a finals. And I think it's the LA Boston finals that we've all been waiting for.
That's 17. I mean, it went the race to 18.
Yes. And it's going to be huge for ratings. And NBA, if you really like to rig things, I mean, if you really like to create atmosphere of competition and will to compete and win, LA and Boston is your finals for next year.
Honestly, like if I had to pick a finals matchup aside from Phoenix and Boston, which I thought it was going to be last year, it'll probably be Denver. And
I don't think Denver gets back. I don't think they repeat.
I don't think so either because they lost Bruce Brown.
Yeah,
and I think that was an important piece for them.
But they have that Christian Brown guy.
Christian Brown is
he's
really
actually
good.
Pretty nice.
Really good for a rookie. He really produced well. But I mean, he's still not Bruce. Bruce was a different type of defender.
Right.
During a lot of the series, he was
definitely key.
Maker. Yeah. So it's like you lose that. He went to the person that offered the biggest bag. Makes sense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look,
man.
get your money. Whatever. You don't even have to be an athlete. Like if you a janitor and some other school or restaurant or whatever offers you $1 more an hour, go get that bag.
Get the money. I
get
personally feel like the expectations for NBA players to stack multiple rings is ridiculous.
Yeah, that conversation is going to be like, it's going to fizzle out after a while because rings, honestly, they matter, but they don't matter as far as like the whole picture, a whole big picture of someone's career. Not to me.
Yeah. I mean, me neither. I feel like the argument for the GOAT changes, and there's no such thing. You just have players that are the best at their positions. Like,
at that specific time period too.
Yeah, it's at that time period. Like I feel like some of the players, like to me, what makes you the best is you can transcend generations.
Yeah,
that's what puts you in that starting five.
Because I think that in 20 years from now, we will probably be talking about Victor What's Your Mama.
I mean, we could, but I mean, to me, if you throw him in an era like with Shaq, he free lunch. He too skinny.
Oh yeah, he's small.
You know what I mean?
He would break in half.
So it's like it's all about timing. I feel like KD probably would have had trouble in certain eras when they were more able to be more physical because they can be under him, and he's has a long reach, but he has a good handle. But he's so lanky.
Skinny,
he's so lanky. I mean, I'm up here. I'm punching you in the kneecaps as you on your crossover.
It's not sustainable for somebody like that.
So I think he would have had to bulk up. He wouldn't have, I think now he can skate by being 6'11", 240. In the 90s, he probably would have had to take the Giannis route.
He had to be 6'11", like 280.
Yeah, and then he probably had that diminished Giannis' shooting. So I mean, looking at that type of stuff, like those arguments are dumb. It doesn't even matter. Like Jordan is great, LeBron's great, and now Kobe is getting thrown in there, which is wild to me.
It is kind of wild.
Not saying that he doesn't deserve it, but it's just been wild to me because back when he was playing, it was clear that Jordan was number one.
I think it was because his game was so close to Jordan's. It was like, well, how can you really differentiate between MJ and Kobe? But to a certain generation, you can. Because you've seen like the end of Jordan and then all of Kobe.
Yeah.
But like to the older generation, you've seen all of Jordan and all of Kobe. So it's like, I mean, it's
like I've seen this before.
Right.
And then the older generation really hates on LeBron because it's because
it's a different game too, though. You know what I mean? Like LeBron came in that era almost like towards the end, but then he also went through the transition of it becoming a softer. Or less physical NBA. So
it's a jump shot
more spaced out. Yeah, more spaced out NBA too. So you can't really. I don't know. It's just hard to say who's your goal. You really just have to be, unless you like 100 years old, and you can really be objective about everything.
But, then everybody has their bias. Like that's why I don't I stopped entertaining those type of debates because it's like when we're talking about these finals predictions and all that, it's all on what you speculate based on random data that we,
because I have no like real tangible data to back up. I just really want to see the Lakers in Boston.
I mean, I'm a couch fan,
and I think that if you're gonna rig a finals, I'm not accusing the NBA of rigging. I'm just saying if you're gonna create an environment, an atmosphere of competition and entertainment, LA and Boston is where you want to go.
I mean, in theory, yes, and it's like we've been close so many times, but I feel like it's going to be that situation for this generation, like the Kobe and LeBron finals that we all wanted. I feel like we're going to get close, but it's going to be snatched. Like this year, it was close, but it was snatched, and you got the finals that nobody really was thinking about.
Because I do want to see like a more recent version of LeBron, because LeBron in the bubble, that final, I'm not saying it didn't count, it just didn't feel like it was a finals worth being like, ooh, like LeBron is going against a tough opponent and he got through that, and it just didn't feel like that. Even though Jimmy Butler is, elite in his own right anyway.
That's the last peak Bron that you have. I feel like now you have older LeBron who he settles for jump shots now as opposed to what
passing.
I mean, he always passes. He makes the right play. He's setting up the plays as he's going. It just doesn't look as fast as it did when he was in Cleveland, because it's like the game. He's like, let me slow this down.
Well, he's 40,
getting more winded, so he's slowing his game down. And you see, it's a natural progression for most players. Kobe did the same thing. That's why he did a lot more jump shots and more post work instead of being more high flying. And a lot of people don't. They like Father Time is definitely undefeated, but in order to truly like see the differences in their game, you have to look career wide and why they're doing what they're doing. That's why LeBron takes more threes now. He's tired. He's almost 40.
I'm tired, boss.
It's like you want him. Oh, I want him to guard the best player. He got to run the offense. He can't do that anymore. He's 40. So,
man,
I mean, I think he's still great, but.
Yeah,
I mean, a final series with Jason Tatum would probably be like, dog, I don't want to do this.
It's a wish list thing for sure.
Yeah,
but
I wish it would have happened sooner.
It should have happened last year.
But I still think he had that foot injury last year, so that would have been washed too. So for me, I think what I would like to see, I think the most exciting finals will probably be the star-studded one, and that'll be Phoenix versus Boston, because you have 3 superstars versus 3 superstars, and that'll be the last of super teams. Because I think we're going more to duos and the Denver route, because that's sustainable. So that'll probably be it. Then you'll start seeing drastic moves elsewhere. But honestly speaking, knowing this, you might see, knowing how the NBA looks, you might get Nuggets in Miami next year. So.
That would be crazy.
It'd be wild, but I mean, it's a lot of good team.
But if Dame gets out of Portland and goes to Miami, I can see that.
I can see it.
I don't see Miami coming back to.
I mean,
they were an 8 seed. And they just so happened to finagle their way through the East in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But they played who? New York.
Yeah.
And then Gimpy Boston.
Shoot, who was the 1 seed? They played
the Bucks without Giannis.
Without Giannis, and I think the Bucks are still gonna be, something.
I forgot about them.
I forgot about them as well. But I mean, they're recent champions. But I mean, they're still there as well. Yeah. But I just don't think that they have enough to contend with.
And they have a new coach.
I mean, man, it might be a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a bad thing because they got the assistant coach from the Raptors.
Oh yeah, that was a random hire. Yeah, it was random. And then you got Philly. We got to see what happens with that. I think they're in shambles.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see what Nick Nurse
James Harden don't even want to be there. So
yeah, it's a lot of parity in the league all over the place. Like we definitely can sit here and say, hey, there's these teams that are going to win. Like my hot take for OKC to be the next team. I mean, it's just natural progression.
Which is plausible.
It's plausible because it's natural progression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like, for instance, when we seen OKC's first run with KD, Westbrook and Harden, when they were all in their early 20s and they went to the finals. It's that same type of progression that could happen.
Right.
Because you have that level of talent again. It's just putting it together. And I mean, I don't see it being wild. I mean, hell, the Rockets could even be something.
Yeah.
But I doubt it. But I mean, Ime Udoka is there, so he could.
So they'll be able to play defense.
They'll be able to play defense, but I mean, where's the scoring gonna come from? That was the main
Van Vliet?
inconsistency. I mean, Jalen Green maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, I mean, I think Kevin Porter Jr. is still there. So I
Yeah.
mean, you got talent there. It's just, are you ready to play big boy basketball?
That's it.
And that's that.
Victor, what's your mama? You gotta look out for what's your mama now.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm not sold on Victor, but we can say that for another episode. We went on long enough. So this has been the first installment of Halftime Adjustment.
Yes, sir.
So we'll see y'all next week.